Very happy to have everybody here. Good morning again, and welcome to the panel on the topic of the growth of plant-based food in restaurants. And I think the main goal here is to share some experiences, see what sort of trends we have noted, and really just have a fun, open discussion about what we think is going on. My name is Reelika Alunurm. I am also from DD Stratlab as Kertis. And first I'd like to introduce our lovely panelists. You met Siva Parlar already, and he spoke quite a bit. And I think we can maybe perhaps move on to Taavi. Taavi Loog is is the head of the Baltic the manager of the Baltic region in Wolt. Is that right?
Restaurants at Wolt.
Okay, very good. That's right. Good to have you here and correct me. All right, so I think Wolt is quite a known name for most people. It is a food delivery platform system, and it also includes 1,000 active restaurants in the Baltic region, which is quite impressive. Very lovely. And one of the things that I read is that it is one of the goals of Wolt to have this, to introduce new flavors and global trends as well. So this is actually quite a good platform to have interesting and new experiences. Very good. Have a round of applause. Oh, never mind, in the end. And we also have Ivo Rosenberg here. He is from Hesburger, and he is the product developer in Hesburger Baltics. And it is noted that the products that he has developed have sold over 500,000 pieces in the Baltics, for example. And he also likes to experiment with new things, new tastes, and innovative ideas. So very good. Let's have a round of applause for our panelists. And just to note again, if you have some questions, you can write them up in the Slido app, and we will try to take at least a couple in the middle and maybe there in the end. So also, if you see some questions that are very good, you can upvote them and make sure that they pop up more certainly. Right, so to the discussion. I was thinking that maybe it would be good to kind of, map out some of the main trends or like a little bit of a framework for this discussion. And, few of the trends or few of the popular topics, I think in media and social media, well, first of all, maybe the health topic in general. It seems at least that for people in, 20s, 30s, 40s, health, being healthy, looking good, is kind of an important trend. There's, fitness gurus, there's dietitians and nutritionists, and people are following these online. They are going to, different health institutions, trying to find ways to stay fit, to look better, to lead a healthier life. There's social media stars on YouTube, on Instagram. There's also bloggers even in Estonia, and it seems it is like a kind of a general trend. Wherever you look, there's a kind of an ad popping up. Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to look good? And so forth. But not only, in 2016, it was estimated that approximately 42% of the Estonian population participates in general sports events like city marathons, some events for people with families, and it's quite an interesting trend, especially considering that actually cardiovascular diseases and diabetes and obesity and things like that are on the rise as well. So kind of an interesting paradox here. But at the same time, it does seem that like on any corner, a new MyFitness is popping up as well. And in addition to this, just to map out a few more points before we get to our discussion, environmental issues are getting more popular. It's a big discussion, and also a big question in the future, perhaps for food producers, how to get the produce that is available now. It may be more expensive in the future. It may not be quite as readily available. And just, it seems that at least over the 10 last years, some of these trends have also reached restaurants, based on anecdotal evidence, I would say. There's a lot more variety in the types of restaurants in Estonia. For example, there's Japanese, Italian, there's new Mediterranean tastes, all kinds of new restaurants popping up. There's also more variety in the menus of the restaurants. There's lighter dishes, there's salads, there's sweet potato fries, which is not that healthy, but at least there's more variety in the menus, and also including, indeed, plant-based foods. And I think this really brings me to my first question to you. What will you say? Has this type of healthier mindset reached restaurants? If yes, can you give maybe a few examples? Or if you really don't think so, then, how come? Or what would you say why? So I think it would be maybe good to start with Wolt, as you do have a very good overview of the market. What do you think?
I just had a conversation the other day with a restaurant owner, and one of the things that she mentioned or that we talked about was the fact that before, when it was the restaurant who was educating the customer, let's say 10 years ago, now the tables have turned, and it's the customer who goes to the restaurants and is demanding for new flavors, new food trends. A lot of it has to do, of course, I think, with globalization. People are traveling more, they're getting more experience, they're getting more educated. So I think it's really starting to be the customer who can advocate for the flavors and new tastes that they're seeking after for. Yeah.
Quite interesting indeed. Ivo, what would you say? Especially, I'd like to hear about the Hesburger experience. What would you say about this topic?
First of all, thank you for inviting me here. These questions are definitely need attention. Back to your question. Yes, healthy trends have arrived also in Hesburger. You need to develop, because trends put all companies to choice, grow or leave, and these trends are arrived. I can give some samples. For example, we have brought more healthy options in our restaurants: smoothies with real berries, muesli, mini salad, carrots for snack. With different campaign products, we always try to move closer to trends. The menu must be constantly changing.
Okay, so what you're saying is basically, even as a fast food chain, you still have to kind of add vegetables, carrots, things like that to your menu just to keep up. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because when you have these,
I would like to add quickly.
I think which is also cool that talking about Hesburger, but not only Hesburger, but other bigger chains, when you look at McDonald's, I think when you notice that those kind of food trends, or I don't know if you can call plant-based diet a trend, it's rather like a practice, and it's becoming wider and wider. When those patterns start hitting the fast food or chain restaurants and very big brands like Hesburger and McDonald's, then we can really see or say that it's not only like a niche thing anymore, but it's becoming a viral thing. And I think that's a really cool thing to see and notice that, McDonald's, which has been on the market for decades, is going along with those trends.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. Siva, what would you say, especially considering what type of target audience do you have, and what would you say about these health trends?
Well, we can talk about, for example, gluten-free. Mm-hmm. Gluten-free thing. It wasn't so famous thing like back in 10 years, but now every restaurant after that have at least 1 to 3 gluten-free options. And today, for example, when we by the way Vönify restaurants, meaning by that we introduce Vöner, we give them Vöner, we train them to use vegan products and so on. So when we Vönified our first restaurants, restaurant owners, for example, they told me that, hey, there is no vegans to eat this product. And I said, yes, there is, but you don't have any options to give them. And so there is customers who want products and then the restaurant need to follow the trends, the new taste, the new food, and so on. Like Taavi said, back in the days, it used to be like that restaurants gave, or shops gave, customers to weigh what to eat and how to eat. And today it's the opposite. Customers really gives to restaurants and shops what we want to buy, what we want to eat, and so on. So it's a good way to go.
A very demand-based market then. Right, but we were going to the plant-based options, and it really does seem that a lot of the restaurants are adding a variety of plant-based options. And my question to all of you is that, why are these products getting more popular, first of all? And would you say that, like in general, a variety of plant-based products are getting more popular, or is it actually like some type, like I was mentioning, like sweet potato fries and falafel or whatever type of, maybe not that much of a healthy food, but more of a comfort food, for example, is getting popular. So what do you think? Like, how are the trends with the plant-based foods? And perhaps we can start with Siva here.
Well, vegans are noisier people ever. So no, like you don't need to be a vegan to eat vegan food. But the knowledge behind that, eating a vegan food, it's not only there is as many reasons as there is people to eat vegan food. Some people eat it because of health, because of environment, because of animals, or so on. And for example, I have one friend who's a meat eater. He went to shop, he bought a vegan food, he posted on Facebook and so on, hey, today I'm eating a vegan food, and so on, like I'm a good man today, and so on. But anyways, there is a affection for that eating this kind of product means that you're a good people, you are doing a good to the world, to your environment, to other animals, and so on. So I believe that's the most of the reasons why it expands so much.
Basically. Yeah. What would Taavi say, for example?
I agree I think that there's three main reasons usually behind why people decide to go vegan or try vegan options or plant-based options. What we have noticed with Wolt is that oftentimes people are very, we can kind of like recommend them a lot of times what they can try through our app, and oftentimes the people go for it, especially when there's a nice and beautiful picture next to the menu. And that's what we like to do as well, because people like to discover new tastes. Oftentimes they're trapped in their own patterns or the way how they're used to eating. But what we like to do is that we like to encourage them to try out new things. And oftentimes that means working very tightly with the restaurants, whether it to be their menu, whether it to be, let's say, an experimental dish that they like to offer this week or this month. Everything that we do is based on information and data. So we can pretty much say in which area of the city people want to consume vegan food, and that is lacking vegan options. And we can tell the restaurants that, hey, you have that amazing ingredients, you have this fresh vegetables, fresh fruits. Why don't you make something great out of it? And oftentimes it works. It works out.
Very good, because actually there is a question in the Slido Ask environment about, does Wolt offer like real advice to restaurants, like what should they be doing and what kind of food people are ordering more, especially plant-based, so that restaurant can add new things to the menu, like you were saying. Can you expand that a little?
Oh yeah, we do that daily. Of course, there is like a very fine line between telling restaurant what to do and recommending them things to do. So obviously, we're trying to have a really good partnership with the restaurant, so they will trust us. They will see that there's actual benefits in what we recommend them to do. And as we've been on the Estonian market, we're a Finnish company, all Finnish companies here. As we've been on the Estonian market for 3 years, then we already have a lot of information about consumer behavior. And it's not based on 10 people or 100 people or even 1,000 people, but we've had tens and hundreds of thousands of orders by now. So there's really a huge pool of information that we can use to help restaurants to develop their business and offer customers something great and new.
Very good, thank you. Ivo, what do you think? What would you say about plant-based products and the usage of them in restaurants? Like, are they getting more popular? Why do you think so?
Exactly, good that you mentioned, because we are also partner with Wolt, and then I know in future when I get also some trends. This is good. But first of all, why I think plant-based food getting more popular? I think also there are 3 main reasons. One reason is ethical. We don't want to kill animals. Second one is exciting taste. Because you cannot get almost everything nowadays. You can get. Possibilities are so much bigger now, then why not try something new? Third thing is sustainability. We need to think about next generations too. And what kind of plant-based food are getting popular? Our sector, tasty products, what has a story. We have one product, soy tortilla, with soy sticks, for example. I think this product is really tasty. And secondly, also is imported cheap products. And the biggest challenge is to change now customer habits, taste habits.
One of the things that you mentioned was that not only the ethical reasons pop up, but also the exciting tastes is actually a thing. And to be honest, I think I recently just read kind of a research that said that, I don't know, approximately 80–90% of people who try or buy these foods may actually be just regular omnivores in their regular life, and they just want to try out some new tastes, especially if it's healthy, but also perhaps just good taste experience. What do you think about that? Anybody can just answer.
I can completely relate to that or agree with that, because one of my recent favorite dish discoveries was from a plant-based restaurant, and it was actually, I just remember the dish with Vöner, so that's good for you. So yeah, I completely agree, and I can see that the trend is, especially people in their 20s, 30s, is leaning towards experimenting and for different reasons giving let's say a chance for dishes that are not meat, and especially it's cool to see it happening with people who are really who say that they love chicken. They're like fitness people who usually receive their protein from meat products. And just a couple of past years, I've noticed that the trend is kind of switching, and the people are really like seeing and getting educated about what are the alternatives. So, yeah.
Right. Siva, what do you think?
Well, I believe, for example, if we talk about Asian kitchen, I don't believe we have many people here who don't like Asian kitchen food. But yeah, in the end, like we said, like they were said that about the taste. Okay, we have a lot of vegan options, which are really funny to eat. For example, if you're a chicken eater and you eat first time tofu, okay, you maybe don't eat tofu another time. But the knowledge how to cook vegan food today is much more what it was like 3, 4, 5 years ago. And like Wolt here said, that they try to explain to restaurants, not to force, but to explain them what to do, what people really want. And that's something like what we also do, like training the kitchen, training the restaurant owners how to use these new products. And using a vegan options in a right way can be really, really, really tasty. And nobody eats raw chicken. It needs to be cooked, it needs to be flavored and so on. And same thing is with the vegan options. So different kind of tastes coming.
Right. I see where there can be a paradox here. You were mentioning that people kind of demand what they want, and especially if they are following all kinds of blogs and new food ideas and doing maybe cooking at home themselves, and then they go to a restaurant and maybe the quality is not really matching the idea that they had in their head. So this could actually also provide some weird moments. But Ivo, what about you? What do you think? Like, is this more of a taste experience question or the ethical question?
I think both is very important, but I think our sector is more important maybe, but we focus is taste is very important, and it's very good when ethical goes with this. This is very good, but more taste, I think. Yeah.
The taste part is very important. There's been quite a few questions, and I will just ask a couple here. First of all, a question for Hesburger. Do you prefer to develop your own vegan products or use other companies, for example, Vöner's or some other?
Yes. Hesburger has invested more than 10 million euros in new factory what is making plant-based food in early 2018, and later 2018 we hope that we can already get some new vegan products from there. Our focus is make our products, but always is not so easy, and also we are open also other choices also.
Can I ask something from Hesburger?
I think so. We will allow it. Go for it.
Your soy sticks are very good. I can say I've been eating many of them. But in Finland, we really talk about this, that Hesburger is really doing like a 10 million investment in Finland with the vegan plant-based factory. We don't know what's coming up from them, but we believe as a Hesburger, maybe we talk about some burger patties. But do you believe that these products, what are about to be produced in this factory, will be in shops also, or only in Hesburger restaurants? For example, soy sticks.
Honest answer, I don't know yet. Maybe because also we are selling now some salad dressing in shop, but yeah, I don't know yet. It depends when we are add this in restaurant menu, and then we see also which are our customers' feedbacks, and does it goes to shop also? We don't know yet.
Let's hope.
Let's hope. A question to Taavi. Would you be able to say like what percentage of the food ordered over Wolt in Estonia, for example, is vegan or plant-based? Let's go with generally plant-based maybe.
I didn't check the latest numbers. Anyway, I think it's dependent on the restaurant. Overall percentage I cannot give you. My gut feeling says that it's around 1/5 even, which is not huge, but still.
Like 20%-ish.
Yeah, 20%-ish. Okay. We have a lot of great vegan options already. We work really hard to get the best vegan and plant-based restaurants in every city that we operate. And which is cool to see is that, we discuss different restaurants adding vegan options, vegetarian options, and plant-based options. I like to think that we made it really easy for the customers, the plant-based food-seeking customers, to find those options from the platform, no matter where they are located. But yeah, I would say that it's around 1/5 of the total orders.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Siva, I also have a question maybe you can answer best. What do you think is the best sort of selling strategy when you're trying to implement this type of a new product, a plant-based product that maybe is not known at all? It's weird, it's new, you don't really know. The restaurants maybe do not know how to handle it. Like, what is the approach here? You were saying about the training. Is there like a general strategy there?
You talk about how to sell it to restaurant.
For example, let's go with that first.
Well, I have one very best example 2 years ago in Helsinki. Mm-hmm. Location was very good in in that place, and I knew that in this location, veggie eaters, vegans, whatever, they are here. And in that location, there was a restaurant, like very well-known restaurant, and I went to see the owner and talk with him about Vöner, vegan things and so on, and he was like, go away. I went the second time, he was again, go away. I went the third time, and it became like a addiction for me. I need to finalize this place. Well, on a fourth time, I gave him 12 kilos Vöner. I said, you don't need to pay anything. I made menu already for you. I checked from online your menu. I made everything vegan. And we checked quickly, like salad dressing and everything is vegan, and yes. Then I told him that if you don't sell these 12 kilos in 3 days, the product, Vöner is already free for you, but I'll promise I'll give you money also for it. So then he was on a fourth time like, okay, let's see. He called me on a second day and said, I need 35 kilos more. And the reason why he did that, and actually he called me, he asked me to come over, and he said like, what did you did to me? How this happened? And I said, yes, you told me that you don't have any veggie eaters. He, for example, told me I'll maybe sell 20 falafel meals a month. And I told him that, okay, you don't have any options, any reasons for people to come there. And this is, we usually don't do this. This is like 1 or 2 times we have done this. Mm-hmm. But strategy is to really give the restaurant not only product, but also knowledge how to use the product.
Right, a holistic view of it, basically,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
how to work with this product, and also maybe to help them figure out if this works on their menu and if everything is correctly placed into the item as well.
Yeah, and we want to do it, as easy as possible for owner of the restaurant.
Right.
We'll do the menu, we do the marketing, we give you product and so on. So you add 2 new products. One is Vöner, one is vegan cheese, for example, and that's it. Yeah.
Right, very good tip. So get them hooked first. One more question from the audience too, and this is really about the language here. Is it a good idea to use the term vegan? Or, maybe it's better to just say, basically ignore that term and just use like, yeah, this is good, fresh plant stuff. But what is your experience, like everybody? What do you think?
Can I say? Our old logo, there was vegan for life in it. Today it's plant-based food. So yeah, why we did that was because when you want new people to taste vegan products, word vegan can be like really big no for someone actually for like true meat eaters or so on. So plant-based is like, okay, I ate a plant-based food, but they don't say I ate a vegan food. Mm-hmm. But yes, we, for example, changed the logo and the text under it to plant-based food, not vegan for life anymore.
Right, clever trick. Taavi, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, whatever makes people try it out, right? Like if it needs that, then I think it's all about the right marketing and approach, and if people find it more comfortable to try out plant-based food rather than vegan food, even though, it's only about the term, right? So, yeah, I like the sound of plant-based.
So, but would you say that on Wolt, people, like, is there an inclination towards one or the other?
That's a good tip, because I think mostly we have the option to add keywords to our restaurants, and I think we have to overlook them now, because mostly they're tied to vegan and vegetarian. But yeah, we have noticed that a lot of plant-based restaurants have started using the word plant-based. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, would you also say that it's in combination with like healthy or no?
Say it again.
Let's say, for example, if they use the tags or the keywords, do they add basically healthy to this, or
Usually it's also connected to the fact that people consider it to be healthy. Obviously, not all vegan food is not always that healthy. Maybe there's a lot of like sauces, it's heavy on the stomach. I'm not sure, but usually the connotation is leaning towards the healthy option. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good tips again. Yeah. Very nice. Ivo, what do you think?
I think we see more this in future. We get more feedbacks about that because we have planned to make vegan mayonnaise and more vegan. And then I think maybe we collect then also some new information. Does customers see difference plant-based food or vegan and how they define this? I come also one thing back. There was one question that what trends are that does taste is more important or ethical. Maybe it was a little bit wrong signal. In Hesburger, I think both is very important. I cannot say that taste is more important than ethical. But I think that much customers maybe see more tastings in our sector. But our thing is that we cannot say that one is more important than other. Both is definitely very important. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
All right. Right. Okay. So I think one of the most, practical questions about this topic is, well, we've been talking about trends. We've been talking about what people like, what they demand, how we should talk about it. But thinking about these trends, how can restaurants actually utilize these trends? To bring in more customers, to gain, higher revenue, to maybe gain new target market groups. What do you think? Like, how can restaurants turn these developments into their advantage? What would you say, like, the main options are here? And really just, whatever clicks with you here, give us your view. Maybe we can start with Ivo this time.
Yeah. I think restaurants needs to test more new products. Because testing is good teacher. Of course, when restaurants make new products, there is always a risk that customers do not buy it. But risks needs to be hedged to avoid losses. For example, Hesburger has for that campaign products. Every month we have different products, and some products are totally new, some products are not, some are old ones. And when we see that new products is not selling so good, we are increasing the selling period until the warehouse is empty, that we don't have losses so much. This means that we avoid losses. But conclusion campaign products show us very clearly what kind of new products we can offer to customer also in future. We see very quickly that one, but we can offer more. Thank you.
So basically what you're saying is test out this new product, maybe over a campaign, and see, if it's good, if it sells well, just add it to your main menu, and then, whatever, the people will be start buying it in the future.
Yeah, and also it's keep very fresh menu, I think, because always we have many loyal customers who are waiting at that what is coming next campaign, and I think this is interesting.
Okay. Taavi, what do you think?
Yeah, I like that Ivo mentioned the feedback part related to consumption, but I think that it's not only about the consumption itself, but I think it's also direct feedback from the customer himself or herself at the restaurant or through social media or through Wolt. Because again, one of the aspects of how we work with the restaurants is that we see that one of the most important things is giving the feedback that customers have about dishes and providing the restaurant with the information. So we have built a platform where the restaurants are able to log in and see what the customers have told about their dishes. And oftentimes there is a specific pattern, whether the customers like the product. If they don't like it, you can track it down and make adjustments or take the product off from the menu if necessary, and or vice versa, add something that customers are constantly asking for example, Vöner. So I think it's really about listening to the customer and being flexible and adjusting to the market.
So would it be reasonable to conclude that basically if you are following these customer trends, you are bringing also in more customers, new customers perhaps, or expanding their possibilities and bringing them back to you, especially if there's so much competition out there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And there's all the time you have to be new and developing and better and fresher.
Well, let's be honest, in my opinion, there's too many restaurants in Tallinn. There's hundreds, if not thousands of restaurants that offer food cafes. And oftentimes what we see is that their menus are quite similar, right? It's what you call fusion confusion, whatever. So what we always recommend to restaurants is to really experiment and try out new things, even if they're not eager to do it at the restaurant on the spot. And Wolt is a great platform to do it because, without having huge fixed costs in the beginning for the food materials, then you can test it out and see what's the direct feedback from the customer side, and maybe later then apply it also at the restaurant on the spot. So.
Siva, what do you think? How can restaurants utilize these trends and these kinds of developments and make a larger profit?
Well, like I said before, that it used to be like that shops and restaurants force it to people to eat what they have. But today it really is like it's a customer who decides what restaurant will offer, and we cannot have options, plant-based vegan options in every restaurant. We cannot have only plant-based restaurants here. It won't be funny anymore for me, I don't know for you, but in the end, I believe that if we look what restaurant owners, well, it's a business for them. And of course, mostly, I hope every restaurant owner is doing it with the passion with food, exploring new tastes and so on. And also, like here, Wolt said that they try to train, try to explain and give them suggestion for the new flavors, new tastes and so on. That's the big part of it also, to have it.
In addition, I'd like to ask, are there any drawbacks for the restaurants? Could there be like some kind of, I don't know, I'm now offering these plant-based options, and then there's like some target groups that are saying, okay, then we're not going to go there anymore, or whatever kind of media coverage that is somehow negative, or maybe it's even towards the cost increase that basically I'm taking in more diversified item portfolio, and then it's driving the cost up, and then basically it's not really giving me back quite as much. So do you think there's some drawbacks as well? Maybe Siva can start here.
In Estonia, in Tallinn and in Helsinki, we have a restaurant called Goodwin, steak restaurant, and like you can almost, I don't know, order a bear meat from there, and they have a Vöner. And when they called me, I was like, "Why do you want Vöner?" And it's like like if they have a bones and ribs and so on. Like, what do you have to do with the plant-based food? And they said that we want that whole family can come here. So if there is a son, daughter, wife, whatever is a vegan or not into so bony food. Okay, I'm very stereotypical at the moment, but let's say the father of family really want to have a steak, so then the boy, the son, the daughter, wife also can join them in the same restaurant. They don't need to be separated or so on. So that was like their main reason to go there.
So actually it increases the chance that, let's say, a whole family or a whole group of friends will go to this restaurant due to the fact that they have these options available.
Yeah.
Right.
And also we have same kind of experience. Restaurant owners in Finland tell us that there might be 40 food delivery from Wolt, from whatever, and there is only a 1 or 2 vegan pizza or Vöner dish, and 36, 38 is with the meat. Well, these 2 customers, because they can have a food, they can have a vegan option from this restaurant, and the other 38 can have chicken, meat, whatever, so these 2 brought these 38 customers to that restaurant. So that's something that they also explain to us and tell us. And I don't know if Wolt have seen the same thing. For example, if there is a 4 food and 1 is vegan, other are chicken, beef, whatever. So I believe personally that because of this plant-based food, because of this one friend, family member, all 3 others also came to be a customer of this restaurant.
Yeah, we can actually see that happening, and we also have noticed the trend of restaurants providing a balanced menu for each kind of taste or preference, and I think it's great. And at the end of the day, what I believe it all comes down is the quality of the product. So I don't think that people in next, let's say, 5 years are gonna look at consuming meat as an everyday thing, rather than, if you have a craving for it, then you look for something of quality, and the rest of the time you're looking for alternatives, because we cannot just keep on running the meat production as we're doing it right now. So yeah, I think it's mainly going to be about the quality of the product, and for the rest of the time the consumer is looking at different alternatives.
Mm-hmm. So if we're talking about drawbacks, would you say that the possible low quality of the product is one of the drawbacks? Or what would you say?
Yeah, I agree with that, because if, let's say, meat is very accessible to all restaurants or consumers, I don't think that you can really provide quality that anymore. So I think when something is becoming more sacred and limited, then also it pushes up the quality side. And I like to see it, because it depends on the market, of course, or the industry. But I really like to see it that first of all, there is more options in the menus in the restaurants, and there's options for the father and for the kids and for the mother. Yeah.
Right. So far we haven't really identified any drawbacks. Ivo, what do you think? Are there any drawbacks for having more plant-based options?
I think also no, because, for example, we added in July, we had campaign product, halloumi burger, which wasn't plant-based product, but it was meat-free product. And then we saw that we got more additional customers, totally new customers, and who are usually not visiting Hesburger. I think it's even benefit when you add new, for example, new product, plant-based product in your menu. And yeah, I think the same pattern will repeat with plant-based campaign products also, and we are definitely working on it. Drawbacks, I think this is more than raw material. Our one main raw material is meat. Volumes are very big. According to that, the price is very low. But plant-based products, for example, plant-based burger volumes are very marginal when we take this for campaign, for example. And price is very high. And this is maybe the cost product is quite hard. And this can be one drawbacks. Yeah.
All right, the cost. Just one more question for you as well. Do you see a rising trend, though, in the popularity of these plant-based products in Hesburger? Would you say that, people are starting to buy this more and more and trying to try it out, and then, in the future it's possible that maybe the cost will drop?
Yeah, because when you have more plant-based food, then you have raw material also cheaper, and you can. Our customer is very sensitive about price, and when we get more cheaper raw materials, then we can decrease also the product costs. And yes, I think.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I will ask a couple of questions from the audience, and then I will ask my very last question to you. And actually, while we're talking to Ivo, there's a question here, quite interesting. In practice, how likely is it that people eating Hesburger food will regularly buy a smoothie or eat carrots there instead of hamburgers and fries and Coke? Or what would you say?
You mean how much has it increased, or?
Yeah, basically, how much has it increased? Like, how likely it is that actually people will, instead of fries, for example, buy carrots?
Yes, it has increased. Maybe we want that it increase more faster, but it already shows when it is in menu. Yeah, they're increasing, but we really like they would increase more faster, I think.
I will ask Siva, what do you think? What would be a good way to approach a regular citizen about these plant-based products? We were talking about how to, talk restaurant owners into adopting them. But what do you think? How to, make it more popular among just regular people?
I believe it's information. Information of breaking the walls, like, hey, eating a plant-based food doesn't mean you're a hippie or whatever. And other thing is that information for your health. Okay, there might be some hardcore meat eater who don't care about cows, pigs, whatever, but care about his health. So to introduce these kind of products, like, okay, eating this and this, substitute for example, beef and so on, you'll get mostly more protein even, what you get from the meat, and also it's a healthier environment. For environment you do good and so on, but I believe altogether is information from many aspects, from any point of view.
In combination with the products themselves?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Taavi, do you have anything to add to this? How to, approach a normal citizen about these topics?
Well, I completely agree with you that it's all about the information, and I started thinking about the term plant-based, and for us it actually is not only about the food, because when we entered the market, what we noticed that one of the main things that is going to affect our business is the packaging that we deliver the food in. And now we have partnered with a company who's producing plant-based takeaway packaging. So, and they're using the word plant-based. So it's very tightly connected to how people consume food, especially takeaway and delivery. And through packaging, you can even start making people think about the food that they consume. If the packaging that I consume my food in is eco-friendly and environmentally sustainable, then I might also start thinking about the way I consume my food. So there's maybe a correlation there as well.
Very interesting and aware clients. I'm very happy about that. Another question for Taavi, you. A bit of a tricky one, maybe.
Tricky.
That's good. When restaurants offer vegan meals, which are actually for one reason or another not really vegan, all in all. Is there like a bit of responsibility on Wolt, or what would you say how the image at least is, even if it, let's say legally it's not your fault, but how do you see that?
That's a really good question. I think one of the main things about good customer experience is how do you solve the bad experience. And we've been working really hard to make sure that even if there's something that has gone wrong with the customer's order, whether a restaurant has mixed up the vegan ingredients with dairy ingredients or so on, or if it's about our delivery process itself, then customers can write to our customer support. They will receive an answer within a couple of minutes, and the problem gets solved according to their wishes. So basically, if they would like the food to be replaced, they would like to get a certain refund for it, or et cetera, et cetera. So we have really taken a customer-oriented approach, and we never try to argue with the customer or the restaurant, because obviously in this business, every site every now and then makes mistakes. It's only logical that there's a human error factor in there. But yeah, I would say that it's mainly about how you solve the issue for the customer.
And do you try to advise restaurants, or give them some feedback of your own, like maybe you should improve this, or?
Oh yeah, that's the same feedback system that we already have with the platform. So basically, our customer support also lets the restaurant know that they unfortunately had made a mistake, and if necessary, then bring their attention to the fact that maybe it has happened before, so there's a pattern, and they should be more careful about it. And most of the time, restaurants obviously do improve if they made the mistake consciously, or not consciously, but consequently. And we see that there's several comments about the same thing happening and again and again and again. Then we of course we approach them, we talk to them, and we try to fix the issue.
Mm-hmm. Actually, one more question for Ivo. Does Hesburger plan to introduce meat developed in laboratories into their products?
What's the last word?
Lab meat, just clean meat, basically. Just grown in, labs.
Maybe in future. Current moment we are at this level that we are opening the factory. I mean that we are opening producing, and maybe when we need help for a lab, then I don't see any obstacle to don't use this. Yeah.
Right. If it's the effect is good enough, there's enough of this available of the raw products, and it makes sense to buy it, then it's not a problem for you technically.
Yeah, it also depends how ethical it is. This is also important.
Right, it may not be, that's true. Right, and my main last question for each of you is that what are the main trends that are you looking out for, or like what your company is looking out for, what you see like, oh, okay, we need to keep up with this. There's like innovative ideas in the field, in development, and what do you want to keep up with? What are the new exciting trends for you? Maybe Siva can start here.
Well, from the start, it was enough that we are a plant-based company. Then it was enough that we have plant-based product. Then it was enough that we have few options of them. Today, it's not enough. Today, we have so many options that people can choose. People can choose by taste, by flavor, by texture, whatever. So I believe that we've seen that peak where we have options. And today we're looking in a plant-based business. We're looking for different kind of. It can be same product but better and better. At the moment, last 4 to 8 months, been talks about patties, burger patties. Like every factory is doing a burger patties. We, for example, we didn't launch it this summer just because of the big talk. So we said, okay, we'll wait till next summer to launch it. But anyways, the next thing, we've seen dairy products. We've seen meat substitutes, especially red meat. I believe next big peak will be with the seafood. So we will see more seafood options.
Very good that you mentioned that, because in the afternoon we will have Finless Foods talking as well, so that's very good. Thank you. Taavi, what do you think? What are the big trends that you're looking out for?
Yeah, obviously we want to keep in line with all the food trends, working together with the restaurants and making it easier to find for the customers whatever they're searching for on the plant-based food side. But as we are a tech company, then we're mainly working on our platform to make it more easier. So I think the next year, if you open the app, it becomes more and more easier to filter out the specific foods that you're searching for. It's going to become more personalized for you. So whenever you open up the app, the person sitting next to you doesn't have the same landing page for the different restaurants as you do. So it's going to be more and more based on what kind of diet do you have, and what are you actually, what you might want to try out. And obviously we try to take into account all the global food trends, plus try to be ahead in terms of, as I mentioned already, us coming to the market 3 years ago and bringing the plant-based takeaway packaging to the market, where 95% of the restaurants were not using it. So we're keeping a really close eye on what's happening on the takeaway market, and to make it as user-friendly and comfortable for the consumer as possible.
So basically, user interface and the packaging and everything. You mentioned the global food trends. Can you give us a few examples, just in case maybe the audience wants to?
One of the things that I personally love to see is what Beyond Meat does. So they're not only in restaurants anymore. Prisma, for example, have them in their stores, and it's like bought out. So I was looking for it the other day, but I couldn't find it. So we're trying to encourage restaurants to use that great product, tell that, we're already in 19 different markets with Wolt, and we have, a lot of different experiences. Obviously, one market is more developed when it comes to food trends than the other ones, but at least in Estonia and in the Nordics, we're trying to be ahead and try to keep up at least with everything that is happening globally. So yeah, basically introducing restaurants different options that they can integrate to their menus and thereby providing the customer a better and tastier experience.
Lovely, thank you. Ivo, what do you think? What are the main trends that you are keeping up with or trying to keep up with at least?
I'm very original. We try to follow plant-based food trends. Good example is the factory where we're making the plant protein. But important is Hesburger operation is based on high quality and safe products. And safety and quality is main focus. And quality has been and will be the most important trend for Hesburger.
All right, thank you very much. Let's give a huge round of applause for our panelists.